Hi, good evening, Robert. How are you tonight?
I'm doing okay. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. So, welcome back to my channel. My name is Swamp Rose, or you can call me Kiki. And my guest tonight is Robert from the channel True Crime Cult. And we're talking Idaho 4 and the case against Brian Kohlberger tonight. So, Robert,
Hey, all. Yeah.
I heard you had a great live stream the other night and you had a lot of new guests on.
Yeah. Criminal Confidential. It was her first time ever on a panel. Of course, Twiz, who's in the chat, and the incomparable AR Hayes.
Yeah, and if you're listening, AR, hello. I sent you a link. You're welcome to join us on panel at any time. So, since you and I last live streamed, there has been a new document that dropped. And I've taken some time to kind of review it. I did break it down, and I have kind of a little presentation on it I wanted to show you. But what's interesting is where we left off was the response, the defense's response to the state's response. Memorandum, but now this is a supplemental response from the state. Do you have any immediate reactions about that, or have you?
I haven't read it yet.
Oh, well, this is a major update in the case. So why don't we start with reading that, and I'll break it down for you guys, because I've kind of gone back to not only the defense's response, but I went to the memorandum and I actually saw what they were referencing in the response. And just hello to the live chat. Nice to see everyone.
Hi, Scott.
Hey, Scott. We made it a subscribers only chat tonight. But we just really appreciate the active chat, and we love that you guys always keep it classy. And so thank you for the active chat. We love your questions. What maybe we should start with, actually, before I read the actual document, maybe I should play a couple sound bites here.
Okie dokie.
Okay. All right, let me pull up this playlist. I should turn my camera off when I do that. All right, so I'm going to just play you a couple clips just to show you. None of these clips are more than a minute, but there's 3 of them.
Okay.
I'll stop sharing that for a second. Okay, there we go. And it's a George Stephanopoulos.
Now to the latest in the case against Idaho murder suspect Brian Kohlberger. His lawyers asked for the trial to be moved, citing a, quote, mob mentality in the town where 4 college students were killed. Kana Whitworth has the details. Good morning, Kana.
Yeah, George, good morning to you. So Brian Kohlberger's lawyers are reiterating their claim here that he cannot get a fair trial in the town where prosecutors say he stabbed 4 college students to death in November of 2022. Now, this new filing alleges that media coverage has traumatized the town of Moscow to the point where some residents there have prejudging opinion of guilt. Now, they're basing all of this on a survey they conducted in various areas of the state, and in Moscow, they say they found a mob mentality, noting that one respondent said they would burn the courthouse down if Kohlberger were acquitted. His lawyers, who believe he's innocent, called the responses in Ada County, where Boise is, where they'd like to move the trial, less emotional. Now, prosecutors are pushing back hard. They're calling the data inadequate and the hypothesis flawed, maintaining confidence that they can seat an impartial jury in Moscow. Now, next week, there is a change of venue hearing. This trial is slated to start in June of 2025. But you guys, today, on campus at the University of Idaho, they will be dedicating that healing garden in honor of Kaylee, Maddie, Ethan, and Xana. This has been in the works now for more than 2 years. Certainly an emotional day for those families today, guys.
It will be. Okay, thank you, Kana.
I heard that the healing garden wasn't that big, and it wasn't the only ones. They also dedicated to the one kid that was found dead under the bridge.
So it wasn't just for the victims of the Idaho 4 massacre?
No.
was it a boy or a girl who was found under the bridge?
It was a boy. Uh, I can't remember his name, but he was the young college student that uh, basically was hazed at one of the fraternities, and they found him frozen and like dead under that bridge. Yeah, you would Chief just said Hudson, and the boy's name was Hudson.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was that same hazing incident. Now that must have been in the same school year, I would assume, right?
Yes, but I mean, you would think that Maisie and Hunter Chapin wanted this healing garden dedicated to Xana, Maddie, Kaylee, and Ethan, but the college just did a mass memorial garden for Hudson and them.
Have you-
Heather Fitzgerald said no connection.
No connections. It's
Yeah,
just
DB Taves said he was a friend of Ethan's. Which Ethan? Ethan Chapin or Ethan? I can't remember his name now.
have you seen pictures of the healing garden?
No, not yet.
I mean, one of the sound bites that I do have is from the healing garden, so maybe we'll get a closer look. I have heard people say, well, I've heard people describe it. Maybe I'll wait till the segment before I make any comments. But if you've seen pictures of the healing garden, I'd love to know your opinions on it. That was just dedicated recently. What you think of the garden itself and its design.
Okay.
And I'm just looking to see if anyone has some. I'm just seeing. Rochelle says it's awful, and it's not even where the house was. They say all who have passed since 2022. Shouldn't it be for the students who passed? I mean, I don't know. I think I had a whole like different concept when I originally was thinking about the healing garden. I mean, like you're saying, I was under the impression it was going to be at the 1122 King Road home. And then I thought that it was fundraising primarily just for the tribute to the students. But, you know, I guess it's probably my lack of understanding what they were actually trying to create.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of weird. You have them is saying, oh, it's for the students of 1122 King Road. That's what Hunter and Maisie wanted. They didn't want it built. Hunter and Maisie didn't want it built on the property because they felt like going to the actual property. The way Hunter put it, I don't want to remember my brother at the side of the House of Horrors.
Oh, I didn't know that they played a role like that in the decision making, but I guess when it's said,
it was Maisie's idea to have the healing garden put there on the campus. Neither her or her brother wanted it at the 1122 King.
I mean, that makes sense. Not like to go trailing off the subject. And I'm sorry, I keep coughing.
Jeff H. just says the memorial will honor all Vandal students who passed away while they were enrolled at University of Idaho. That's not what the Chapins wanted, though.
This is just a random thought, has nothing to do with this, but just about the garden. Is we think about Ethan's smile and some of the foundations that were done in Ethan's name. I wonder if it's a traditional garden like with with like landscaping. I wonder if they have the tulip that was dedicated to Ethan.
Hey, Audrey. Someone said, let me find it. Mission Girl 29 said, basically a meditation garden with pavilion and benches.
Okay. All right. So it's just like a Zen garden.
Yeah. Let's hope they all aren't sitting there going,
Rochelle says it's very cool, like a spaceship. They claimed that's what they were going to use the property for it. When they got the government funds, they claimed it was going for this, still asking for money for it. I didn't realize government funds were contributed to the healing garden. I thought it was privately fundraised. That's interesting. I'll have to look into that.
Jeff H. said the memorial was conceptualized by students in the landscape design and architecture programs.
Oh, that kind of makes it more special. Let me see if there's any. Oh, wait, hold on. There was one from Chris McGraw. They asked the families what kinds of flowers they wanted. Yeah. Oh, we totally agree with you. Both Robert and I agree with your sentiments. The house should never have been torn down. I don't know very many people following. I don't know anyone following this case who agrees with the house being torn down.
Yeah, I know. But it just was weird. The families that didn't want the house torn down was the Gonzalez's, the Mogans, and the Cronodals. The family that did want the house torn down was the Chapins. And the Laramies.
Really, I didn't know that. I mean, I see where their personal interests would be. I mean, thinking that Maisie and Hunter are like right down the street, constantly walking by.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that makes it wrong. I'm just saying I can see where that family would. I can see where the family would feel that way.
Catacomb Man asked, what families are participating in the Amazon deal? It's the Laramies and the Chapins. So basically, Maddie's mom and stepdad, and Ethan's mom and dad. But have you heard about the whole concept behind this docuseries?
Yeah, I made an entire video about it. Actually, it was one of my most successful videos recently. I have a lot of opinions on it. What are your thoughts, Robert?
I would wait till the trial's over. Now I understand that they wanted the families, the Laramies and the Chapins, want to tell the life of their children, and I know they miss their children, but they want to tell the life of their children. But it feels like you're going to have this docuseries, basically with them going about their day-to-day life all the way up until that tragic night. I mean, if they want to do that and memorialize their kids that way, that's all fine. That's all good. I'm not knocking them for that because I know they miss their children. But why show the grisly murders on TV? I mean, am I wrong here, Kiki? Or
so the whole thing is they don't disclose if that's the actual. I mean, I can't imagine them telling the story without getting to that night and telling that part. Yeah. But the concept behind the docuseries and the James Patterson book, or the book that's being produced by James Patterson Publishing, is to tell the lives of the victims in their daily lives. Now, they do not mention the crime. They do not mention how they're going to depict it. But what they're trying to distinguish in this docuseries and this book, aside from other recent books we've seen, is that they directly worked with the victims' families to give an accurate portrayal of their daily lives. They're also going to be telling it from that perspective rather than trying to figure out the psychology of somebody who has yet to be convicted of the crime. So I think it's an interesting concept, although they haven't told us exactly how they're basing it. That's how they presented it to us from the beginning. And I don't know, Robert, about that crime before trial.
Yeah. I understand that they want to memorialize their kids, and you know me, Kiki, I'm not knocking them for doing that. But they should wait till after the trial, because basically, whatever happened to innocent until proven guilty? The media has demonized this guy so much and so bad. They demonize this guy so much and so bad that they're basically saying he's guilty until he's proven innocent. And that's not supposed to be how the justice system works. It's supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. And just like Ann Taylor stated in that motion back to the prosecution, Latah County, Lewiston County, and Nez Perce County have been so preconditioned with the media, with Facebook groups, with YouTube, that they've already found him guilty before he's even stepped foot in the courtroom for the trial. And and Ada, down there in Ada County, there's about 36% of Ada County not even in the case. So why not move it to Ada, where he can actually get a fair trial? Where if he stays in Latah, Kiki, you and I both know he's not going to get a fair trial.
Well, I'm agreeing with you when it comes to this innocent until proven guilty concept 100%, because on a daily basis, I see BK being tried in the media. And it's kind of like that, like communist regime type mentality of show me the man and I'll show you the crime, picking apart every little thing that could possibly be a controversy or something like that. We watch that every single day in the media with BK. And so I totally agree with you. It's not the concept that we hope for. I mean, we want innocent until proven guilty. It's up in arms with our freedom of the press and our freedom of speech laws. However, what we all have to remember when we think it's not our responsibility for that presumption of innocence, it is, because the general population is where that cross section of the jury is taken from. And if we don't continue and maintain that innocent until proven guilty, then the cross section of people that the jury gets chosen from is, they have to participate in the innocent until proven guilty as well. So I do think there's a balance there. Obviously, we want people to investigate and try and get to the bottom of a story, but the trying to figure a story out of thin air and presenting theories is difficult to watch in probably one of the fairest justice system in the world. And we watch people being guilty until proven innocent. So we have new comments.
Just like I went, when I committed my crimes back in the day, back in 2004. I was innocent until proven guilty. I didn't have Ashley Bain. My crime wasn't to the scale of what's going on in the Idaho 4 case. If it was, would I want Nancy Grace or Ashley Banfield to be saying, "Oh, this guy's guilty," before he's even went in front of a jury.
No, I mean, and if when we see these things, we have to speak up, because there are people in the system that don't have voices, and they're not going to be seen by the media. And who's going to be their voice? If we don't fix the system when we see it broken, or if we see it broken, that's our responsibility, to be the checks and balances. And that is, when we talk about the delicate balance of innocent until proven guilty and freedom of speech, that is one of the advantages to having freedom of press and freedom of speech, is that you can speak against power and authority without repercussion, or you should be able to, in this particular country. Well, I don't know how it's working out.
Just said, the general mindset of the population is black and white, guilty or innocent.
Hold on. Where is it?
It's Chris McGraw, 10:19 p.m. my time. Would be 11:19 your time.
Okay, got it. Oops, no, got it. Whoops. Hold on.
It's Chris McGraw.
I don't know where he is. So, sorry.
The general mindset of the population is like guilty or innocent. Very little gray area. That's a very valid point.
It's a very valid point, but I was impressed by how many people, when I started, covering my true crime podcast, who had the level-headed opinion of, I'm going to wait to see everything. Of course, who would know it would be this long? We'd be waiting for trial, and it's just hard to wait and see all the evidence. But I was impressed by a lot of people who were waiting to see all the evidence. I don't hear it as much as I used to, though.
Yeah. It's drowned out by Nancy Grace and Ashley Banfield. I'm just saying. And their narrative.
They have the loudest voices, right? Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Play my menu drop and see if Brian did it. All right, Rolo, we'll put it on the list. We're playing Rolo's new video coming up in a bit. On the list. Okay. All right, so I'm going to play this. So we have a 30-second soundbite and a minute-and-a-half soundbite, and then they do like a little 2.5-minute segment on the Memorial Garden just to continue the conversation. Okay. I'm going to play those real quick. Let me try doing this a different way. There we go. Okay, let me share my screen.
Of Idaho versus Brian Kohberger.
They're calling it a mob mentality. That's how lawyers for Brian Kohberger described the current atmosphere in the area where he stands accused of that grisly quadruple murder.
Right now, he's being held to have a trial in a county that believes that he is guilty.
The defense team making one last push to get the trial moved 300 miles south in Idaho, the state's capital. In a new court filing, defense lawyers now point to damning quotes from residents they surveyed in Latah County, saying if Kohberger wasn't found guilty, there would likely be a riot. He wouldn't last long outside because someone, the good old boy justice, allegedly saying they'd burn the courthouse down. The defense expert who conducted the survey testified in April about the frenzy of media attention surrounding the case.
There's been quite a bit of discussion, spread of new rumors, misinformation, factual information all over social media, which you'd expect in small communities such as this.
But prosecutors are pushing to keep the case where it is, saying the defense has failed to show that a change of venue is necessary or convenient.
This case has national, if not international, attention.
Kohberger is currently set to stand trial next summer for the murders of Xana Kernodle, Ethan Chapin, Kaylee Gonzalez, and Madison Mogan in an off-campus home near the University of Idaho. The judge entered a plea of not guilty on Kohberger's behalf. Now, 21 months after the killings shook the college town, the community of Moscow will unveil a healing garden and memorial in their honor later today.
How do we present the liveliness of these people? Like, they may be gone now, but we don't want to lose that amazing spirit that each of those individuals had.
So, Laura, what's the likelihood that there is this venue change?
I think Koberger has a really good shot at this, guys. Just given how small the town of Latah, the county is compared to Boise, I think that could make a big difference. The judge is set to hear this issue formally next Thursday.
All right, Laura Jarrett, Laura, thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't miss the Today Show every weekday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific on our streaming channel, Today All Day. To watch, head to today.com/allday or click the link right here.
Kaylee Gonzalez, Ethan Chapin, Maddie Mogan, Xana Kernoodle.
So I'm going to stop right here just so we can put this into context. So this is the dedication to the Memorial Garden, or talking about the dedication. And I will let you know, I had a tribute video that I played in my members only live stream. And I think it'd be a good night to play that. I'm going to play that at the end of the stream tonight. And it's by Justice for MKXE. But just to accompany this soundbite, just so you know, we are going to do a little, it's like a 3-minute tribute at the end of the stream tonight. So in honor of the Healing Garden dedication.
On a late summer evening, new hope growing in this garden on the University of Idaho campus, dedicated to students the school has lost.
Today we consecrate this ground as a place where all can reflect, honor their memories, and heal.
Healing, especially for those left behind, including the families of 4 students killed in their off-campus home in November of 2022. Kaylee Gonzalez, Madison Mogan, Ethan Chapin, and Xana Kernoodle.
You can't help but smile and just feel a sense of just what great people they were.
The trial of the man charged with the murders, Bryan Kohberger, still a year away. The legal team's gearing up for a critical hearing next week. But for now, friends and families of the victims return to campus to honor their loved ones. Stacy Chapin embracing her son's fraternity brothers as they begin a new school year.
Do more of what you love to honor Kaylee. Spread that love with random acts of kindness for Maddie. Be silly and do something spontaneous and fun to honor Xana. And tell stories with an abundance of laughter to live life like Ethan.
For the parents of Kaylee Gonzalez, Steve, and Christy, the ceremony another reminder of who their daughter was.
The whole idea that not just about her, but a place for kids to go there.
And as they seek justice for their daughter, the Gonzalez family says no matter where the trial ultimately happens, they plan to be there for it all, but still want to see Kohberger tried right there.
This is where it happened, and you know, the community deserves to be part of that jury.
Now, a judge entered a plea of not guilty on Kohberger's behalf a while ago, but the real focus now, guys, on this defense push to get the trial moved out of Latah County. His lawyers are set to appear before a judge next week to argue that there is widespread bias in that community against him.
All right, Laura, thank you so much.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't miss the Today Show every weekday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific on our streaming channel. Today All Day. To watch, head.
What was that?
I said Steve G doesn't look well.
I thought they looked good. I thought Christy's hair looked good, and I thought that he had lost some weight. But, yeah. I mean, that's up for interpretation. Some people, sorry, obviously I'm contradicting you. What were you saying about Steve, though? I'm sorry.
I said Steve doesn't look well. Looks like he's lost a lot of weight. And, with what's going on in this case, I don't blame him. He's probably a nervous wreck, especially with that hearing coming up this Thursday, to see whether or not they move the trial out of Latah.
I agree. And I think that when we heard what Christy and Steve just said, that is, for me, the strongest argument that I've heard for keeping the trial in Latah. This crime happened here. This is this community's business. We want to deal with this here. But that's not our system. Our system is our Sixth Amendment rights, the right to a fair trial.
Now, do you know, like, 60% of the college students there in Moscow want the trial moved?
I did not know that statistic. That's interesting. 67% of University of Idaho students said that.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you know who took that poll by any chance?
Brian Inton was interviewing some U of I students, and quite a few of them said that they want the trial moved out of Latah because once the trial starts, it's going to be a media circus, and they don't want to be harassed by the media there at the U of I. It's going to be a carnival outside the freaking courthouse with all the media trucks and all the reporters. And if you move the trial to Ada, it's a bigger courthouse. The jury can leave out in the garage below the courthouse to get on the bus. You don't have to worry about the jury. Don't have to worry about being photographed and everything else by the media outside the courthouse. One of the jurors for the Chad Daybell case said that they were very well taken care of by the court staff, by the bailiffs. There was an entrance below ground in an underground parking garage where they would take them down, put them on the bus, and it was a nondescript bus with blacked out windows, so they wouldn't have to worry about running into the press outside.
The facilities just seem like they were designed for a high profile case. I mean, obviously it's a larger county. There is going to be so many more advantages in that courthouse. But I guess the question is the courthouse in Latah County not capable of handling such a high profile case? I don't know.
Well, I mean, just like Twizzlestick has stated, it's a very, very small courtroom.
Right.
I mean, even Steve came out and said that walking into that courtroom there in Latah is like walking into a studio. Like a courtroom set. That's how tiny it is in there.
Let me bring something up here.
But when we bounce ideas off of each other.
What'd you say? Wait, say that again, Robert.
I said I love it when we bounce ideas off of each other.
I know, we do a good job. All right, so this new document, let me make sure you guys can see that, and let's move ourselves down here. Let's get into this new document, and I'm going to show you a few things about it that I think you guys will be interested in. So, all right, so this new document, this came out on the 23rd, and it is the notice on the state's objection to defendant's motion for change of venue. And this is a response to the defendant's response to the prosecution's response to the memorandum. So upon review, let me turn off my camera while I read this. Hold on. Upon review of the defendant's reply brief and the supporting declaration of Dr. Veronica Dyer, as well as a review of the documentation submitted by the defendant with his initial brief, the state provides the following notice. Portions of the state's brief indicate that the state was not provided a comprehensive survey data from the defendant. This is incorrect. The state was provided raw data from the surveys, as well as a declaration and analysis, some of the data. When the defendant filed his initial motion for change of venue on July 22nd, 2024, though the state's argument remains unchanged, The state does not wish to create the impression that the state did not receive all of the survey data. To that end, the state submits this notice in advance of the hearing. So I underlined this part right here that says portions of the state's brief indicate that the state was not provided comprehensive survey data from the defendant. So I was like, oh my gosh, what are they talking about? So I'm like, well, let me go back to the document and I'll try and use those keywords to try and figure out what they're looking for. And those keywords don't match anything. But what I did find out is when I looked for the word data in the response, I found like 3 different things I think they could specifically be talking about. The last one of which actually cites the memorandum. So I'm going to read all 3 of them to you, but I think when we get to the 3rd one and we go to the appendix B of the memorandum, it's going to make a lot of sense why they're setting themselves up to say, no, we have all the data right here, because they're going to make arguments against the actual survey, not that they misinterpreted the data. So let me pull up this other response.
AR's in chat.
Hey, AR.
Hey, brother.
Welcome to the chat. Stop by quickly to say hello. Hope everyone has a great night. Thank you, AR. We hope you do too. All right, let me bring up this other piece of paper. Okay, so this is the reply to the state's objection. And like I was saying before, I was kind of looking for those key words. Like the state says that the sentence we were focusing on is portions of the state's brief indicate the state was not provided comprehensive survey data from the defendant. So look at a couple of these things. Oh, let me make sure I'm sharing my screen. Let me take that down. Okay. So I'm going to read you 3 different things from this. So the first paragraph where I thought this might be, it says the state claims that the survey, and I found these by using the keyword data, and I chose these out of what I found. So the state claims about the survey are wrong. Dr. Edelman designed the survey questions and how, depending on the participant's answer, the order of the questions would flow. The survey report lays out the questions and responses for all 4 counties and demonstrates that the survey was conducted exactly the same way in each survey. The only difference is the number of participants. And if you go down, like these match different things. Like the 2 right here matches this, and it says the defense made a decision about where to focus time and money on a full 400 surveys. While Mr. Kohlberger will gladly agree to venue change to any of Ada, Canyon, or Bannock counties, Ada County is the most rational due to factors of population size, courtroom security, and layout, cost and convenience, and prior precedents of other districts in the court. And so I'm going to read you this next paragraph, which this could also be what they're referencing. The survey report shows that the impact of media coverage and the more media items a potential juror knew, the higher prejudgment of guilt. Latah County participants knew more media items than any other county. The state criticized the content of the survey, complaining that it was not enough. It was not enough of the survey items, and the survey items were false. And this has a number 3 attached, which goes down, accompanies this footnote. The state complained about the survey containing items that were false or inadmissible in a previous hearing. Now they complain that we should have put more of those items in. And it's a really interesting argument, I think. Inadmissible or false statements are the information that this court must consider. And it goes on to say the state further criticized the survey, asking the court to disregard it in its entirety, alleging that the survey did not include the record of the citizens in Latah County who did not want to participate in the survey and that whose insertions were incorrect. The last page of the survey, and this is what I was emphasizing, is these last 2 sentences. The last page of the survey report provides a table depicting the total number, the total amount of numbers dialed and what happened. In support of this argument, the state cites the court to a study done by Pew Research Center, according to partial statements. Sorry, I can't talk straight. From the study was included. Dr. Veronica Dyer has reviewed the survey done in this case, as well as the objection filed by the state, and she opines that any non-response rates do not create a bias invalid to the survey. Exhibit F1 Dyer Declaration, and it says conducted by Mr. Kohlberger. And I'm gonna go on with this point, because if you go down here, hold on. If I go to this page, this is really interesting. So like, they're saying that there's no info from the surveillance who did not know about the case. And that's kind of what the state had put in their response. But what's interesting is those phone calls had a lot of information in them. In fact, from what is said here and what I'll pull up in Appendix B of the memorandum, there was about 8 to 9 questions they asked before they even got to anything to do with Brian Kohlberger or the actual crime. So it's kind of interesting. So I'm going to read down, and then where you see it highlighted in red, that's where we're going to go back to the memorandum. And it's an easy read. Yeah, this is written by Dr. Veronica Dyer, so it's not like the normal verbiage that we're used to seeing. All right. However, and again, this is Dr. Veronica Dyer. However, following on the same line, and I should probably tell you what this is called. Hold on. I don't know. I don't want to go all the way up. However, following in the same line of reasoning as the prosecution, a respondent with no opinion on a topic would never be included in survey data, when in fact the opposite is true. And this is her response to the prosecution. Many survey response opinions in a survey are designed and written with the idea that the respondent will answer with exactly a no opinion response, so that the response option is offered to the respondent as a possible choice. As was the case in the telephone survey that was conducted by Research Strategies.
Sorry, my wife was getting me a glass of green tea.
No, I hope you're feeling better, Robert. And the green tea, I'm sure, helps. As was the case in the telephone survey that was conducted by the Research Strategies, Inc. for defendant Brian Kohlberger. Just because the respondent has no opinion on the survey topic does not mean that can't or won't take the survey at all, or won't or can't answer the questions. For example, in the telephone survey used specifically in this case, respondents were asked approximately 8 questions before they were ever asked a single specific question about the case. And if they were, I'm just going to mute your mic, Robert. All right. They were asked 8 questions before they were ever asked a single specific question about the case. And if they were not read, heard, or seen anything about this case, then they were asked general questions about the media habits, and all case-specific questions were skipped. See survey in Appendix B, page 74, Edelman's survey. And I looked that up because it's not obviously page 74 of the memorandum, but I found that. The declaration provided by the defendant's memorandum in support of the motion of change of venue. There is no need for the respondent to quit or terminate the survey just because they did not have an opinion about the Kohlberger case. In fact, the skip pattern in the survey allows for a respondent to skip to question 17 if they state no to 2 questions about the recognition of the case. Therefore, the prosecution's argument is flawed in stating that there is no response bias for those people who refuse to take the survey just because they did not know anything about the case, or because they were not told about the interview recorded. And I'm going to explain this to you by showing it to you. Let me unmute your microphone. I'm sorry, Robert.
It's okay.
What?
I said, it's okay.
Yeah. All right. So let's just bring up the memorandum and see what Appendix B says, because you'll get a good idea. Like, they didn't get no data from these people who had no opinion about the case. They got quite a bit. All right. So this is Appendix B. Appendix B survey instrument. And so as you can, I'm just going to give you an example, because if you go down, it's not until you get down to right here. It's not down until you get to here that they actually ask a question related to Bryan Kohberger. So this information is present for those people who had not heard of the case. So let me just give you a few examples of these questions so you can get an idea of what they would ask someone who hadn't heard about the case. And again, these are questions that are asked before they even ask about the case. So their information is relevant and collected. So they ask things like, does the respondent have a reasonable working knowledge of English? First, you live in Latah County. Have I reached you on your cell phone or your landline? Are you a U.S. citizen older than the age of 18 who has an Idaho driver's license or state-issued identification card with a Latah County address shown on it? Are you a U.S. citizen over the age who is 18 or older registered to vote in Latah? Are you in a place where you can safely talk on the phone and answer my questions? When is it safe for me to call you back? And yeah, I mean, you get the gist. But anyway, I just wanted to show you that because I thought it was interesting. All these arguments it seems like they set themselves up because they knew that these arguments are coming. And they're not saying they didn't get all the data. They're saying they have more substantive arguments to give. So I don't know. Let's look at the chat. And Robert, I mean, after my presentation, do you have anything you'd like to add to the conversation about that?
Well, I haven't read it yet, but I'll probably go back and read it tonight. Now, I was talking to you in Discord, which was a rarity since you came back into Discord, which is rare. What did you think? What did you think when I came to you with the actual sixth roommate?
Well, you know, it's something I haven't talked about in a long time, and I thought you brought up some interesting points. You know, if that's something you want to talk about right now, why don't you bring it to the people and we'll have a little discussion.
Well, I have a sleuther behind the scenes now, and yeah, and she has, you know, she has brought me a whole bunch of stuff, new stuff, in the Idaho 4 case. Now we've heard the 911 call for the unconscious person. Correct?
No.
No. The whole, when the people call 911 about the unconscious person, and then we heard that there was a fifth person that went to the hospital that day. You know, whenever we see the noise complaints on the body cam, which female answers the door? Hunter Johnson's girlfriend. And I came across an interesting picture, and I shared it with you, where it shows Hunter Johnson sitting on the bathroom sink with the little caption below, getting hugs from Rumi's boyfriend. The actual sixth roommate was Emily, Hunter's girlfriend. And there's, because I came with receipts, and I sent you one of the receipts, did I not, Kiki?
Oh, yeah. And I actually have pictures. I've shown a picture of her and Hunter before, but I blanked out her name. I've only used her initials before. But you had some interesting thoughts about you had some interesting thoughts on that too, like what that could have maybe said about that morning. Or
Yeah, Audrey's C's DNA podcast just hit it on the head. That can explain why Hunter was over at the house that morning. Either he came over to pick up his girlfriend Emily, or he was in the house that night, staying the night with Emily. Because we hear that Kaylee was in the process of moving out. What if the reason why she was in bed with Maddie that night was the fact that she wasn't technically living there? Emily was in her room, or her old room.
I mean, it's very interesting. Actually, Audrey just said that too. I think it's really interesting. One of the things that I think is interesting when we bring her up is so we all know Hunter had really strong connections to the house, but that would make a lot of sense by why he was the specific male called over. Although we did hear at the Memorial for Life, oops, I put up the wrong comment. What I meant to put up was that one for you. Hunter did say he was Ethan's best friend. So that could be the reason why we're called. This makes a really plausible reason why they would have called. She could, I'm just saying, E could have been staying over at Hunter's house and they could have called, I don't know. Maybe they even called E that morning and she's like, hey, I'm over at the fraternity and they're like, you need to come over. There's so many things we can speculate with this.
Yeah, because we always hear about the unconscious person. Well, what if it was Emily who had fainted from seeing the crime scene that morning? And someone had taken her to the hospital.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's a possibility too. I mean, whether I think she was there or not, I don't know. I mean, I don't think she is. I think that would have been included in the PCA, or it would have been included in one of those early news reports.
Well, if she wasn't there when the cops got there, if she was at the hospital, because the newscaster and that vouched that there was a fifth person, there was a person that went to the hospital that morning.
Mm-hmm.
So if she wasn't there when the cops got there, why would she be put in the PCA? The only people in the PCA, Dylan and Bethany, because Dylan saw the killer. And then Dylan and Bethany are the ones that possibly discovered the dead bodies, laying in the blood, because that don't make no sense to me. Payne stated when he walked in, it was the heavy smell of blood and decomp, because the bodies were decomposing. If Payne can smell that, Kiki, then why can't Dylan and Bethany smell it?
I mean, we don't know that they didn't. I just want to go back to the PCA for a second with Emily. So we're thinking about reasons why. We're just going with a theory now and breaking it down.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't Emily be in the PCA if she was there, is what the theory we're working on now. And you're saying, well, she might not have been there when the cops came. And so, but I'm thinking the reason both Dylan and Bethany were in there is because in some way the events of the end of that night or the early morning hours, they were a witness to. Even if it was a witness to saying everything was quiet until 4 a.m. So just to finish my thought while Robert's muted, I mean, I don't see how she could have been in the house that night and not be in the PCA, because she would have been some kind of witness. But I don't know. And I don't obviously know how PCAs are written and everything.
Heather just made a valid point there. Steve G also did an interview and said that the person that was taken to the ER was one of the roommates that passed out.
So, I mean, on that basis, that is true. Well, he said an interview where he said it was one of the roommates that passed out, because I never saw or heard a soundbite of him saying that. All I had was the X clips, the screenshots from that reporter, and that soundbite that I played you guys before. I'll just pull it up so you guys know what we're talking about. But
because
if
that's the case, if that's the case, that would tie Emily to the house, because why would she answer the door to the noise complaints?
Is the only one there. I don't know. I don't know, but I want to get an answer to the question about Steve G actually saying a roommate was passed out and brought to the hospital. That is something I have not heard before. And then Sirius says, wow, I don't remember that interview either. We're gonna play your video, Rolo, don't worry. Maybe she's one. Yeah, and then Chief agrees with you. Maybe she's the one that went to the hospital. Maybe she's the informant. Never thought about that. I've always thought that too, that the one who went to the hospital could have been the informant. And then Heather says, yes, I have the entire interview when he said this. I mean, depending on what news station is, Heather, if you could, since I'm on Discord for a few more hours, if you could send it to Discord, I love it. Just in case there's anyone watching who does not know what we're talking about with this fifth roommate and someone being rushed to the hospital, we have to show you the news bite, because, I mean, we want to make sure everyone's on the same page. And if you haven't seen this before, this is a little bit, it raises your eyebrows. It's a little bit jarring because it's just slightly different than the narrative we all know. Let me go to here, go to my channel. If you want to see the clip, I play it in a couple different videos, but I've got one right. I'm trying to think which the best one to play is. Probably this is it.
Is anyone acting differently since the murders? I mean, is there anyone that you have a weird feeling about that the girls knew or that comes to mind?
We'll just let this one clip play while we do this.
You don't have to give a name, but I mean, is it someone that she knew, or?
I have something to say about that. I just feel like there's been a couple individuals that were cleared very fast. That may not, maybe Chanel, and yeah.
She had the strong alibi.
Just really fast.
Let me pause there. Okay, hold on. Here it is. And so just so you know, this this clip comes from Tell It to Elle. So, and I think I have a banner for her. I'll put the banner up and take it down because I've done this before. It covers the actual soundbite. Or if my mods, if you have a link to Tell It to Elle right there, if you could drop it in the chat, that would be great. Anyway, I'm going to play the clip and then I'll find the. I always pause myself when I'm making these funny newsreel regarding November 13th, 2022, when the first news reports came out of the crime.
On Good Morning Northwest, tragedy on the U of I campus. 4 students dead, another in the hospital. The new information we're learning and the questions we're hoping to be answered.
And I'm actually going to go back. I have something better than this. Let me pull. I have the actual. What were you going to say?
Have you seen the actual original interview from Olivia Gonzalez? The one that's not the one that you can't find anymore.
Was it on Chronicles of Olivia's channel? What channel was it on? Where was it from?
I just put it in the back chat.
Okay. Second. All right, I'm pulling this up. Okay, so I wanted to pause here on this. These are the screenshots. I wanted to pause here on these two screenshots. So this woman is a reporter for WXLY, and these are her text messages on the left, where she says, "Damn, you're right. We did not include that in our story." And then the second text message says, "It's just awful." And then the third one says, "Another student in the hospital. It's one of the many pieces that the police aren't talking about." So I would love to know what you think. What do you make of this? And then Robert's got something to share. Let me take this down. Okay, so what are we looking at here, Robert, before I'm pausing this?
It's the original interview with Gonzalez's husband. It's just them two. You know, no Steve G, no Christy around. It's just them two.
Okay. I've never seen this before, I don't think, Robert. Thank you. So this is a 5-minute interview? I'm sorry.
Yep. And listen to what Olivia says about Kaylee.
Okay. All right. This is really interesting. I've never seen this before. Let's go.
There is no imminent, threat to the public, that they do believe this was an isolated, targeted attack. What is your take on that sentiment?
Yeah, I don't share that sentiment. Our family doesn't share that sentiment. I think that anything can be isolated until it's not. And until we have someone in custody, there's no way with any amount of confidence to say this is isolated. It's not, it wasn't a hit and run.
They're on the loose. No one's been arrested. So.
It wasn't a hit and run and they got scared and drove off. It wasn't a car accident. Someone did this with the purpose of doing this. Not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4. And I don't know of anything scarier than that. I don't know what more people could be scared of. And I do want to add, being vigilant in this case is not enough. They were vigilant. They did go out in pairs. They did Uber downtown with a trusted Uber. They did Uber home with a trusted Uber. They only went to trusted places, but they went every other weekend.
And this was in Moscow, Idaho. It has a reputation of being one of the safest.
Absolutely.
College communities in the country.
They lived on one of the most iconic streets for being seniors. It's kind of a well-known place. And, I obviously don't know for a fact, but I know my sisters, and I know for a fact they locked their doors. So by all means, they did everything right.
Correct.
There was a keypad on their front door. I will say, due to the, closeness of the community and due to the safeness of it, I think a lot of people had, access to that door. But yes, that door had a keypad.
What she said there, a lot of people had access to that front door.
Robert, I think that's actually a good segue into our next segment. I'm glad that you brought this up. This is really interesting. It's really interesting.
Exactly.
Something about it.
If you could talk to witnesses, to anyone, to maybe somebody who has heard a confession already at this point, and you could speak directly to them, what would you say?
Yeah, I would say, if you know anything, if you think anything, if you heard anything, if you saw anything, just call it in. Even if the next morning you were taking your dog out for a walk and they were sniffing in a bush and there was a glove, call it in, because it could be absolutely nothing. And if it is, then I am happy. And it could be absolutely something. And if it is, I'd rather have it called in 17 times than never called in at all. I think to whomever did this, if you saw someone acting out of their nature, I know it's important to protect family. It's important to protect friends and I know that those ties of loyalty are strong, but you should be scared. And this isn't someone that should be protected. So if you noticed odd behavior, if you noticed something in the shared bathroom trash can, if you noticed a weird smudge on the fridge after your roommate came home late, call it in.
Can I just stop for a second? It's so weird hearing this interview because it's almost like she had some premonitions. It's weird. Like,
Yeah.
she's saying they should have looked through the trash, but they didn't. And then she goes, if you see something weird, even if it's a glove misplaced, and then there was Chris McDonough finding the glove. I mean, I'm just pointing this out. It's just weird how mysterious it is that she said those two things right in a row. And both of those things came true.
Any injuries, anything at all, because worst case scenario, the police talk to them and they get to go home. If they have nothing to hide, then you just did your job. Call it in anonymously.
Any information at all that people could hand over to help would be amazing.
Yeah.
We just need more.
Tell me about your sister.
Yeah, Kaylee was a spitfire. she absolutely was, you know, the tan blonde with a beautiful smile that lit up the room. But you hear that every time. She was so much more than that. She was an absolute brat. She was an absolute,
like a true sister.
Totally, you know, I mean, just to be genuine, I know that that's what she would want, is just that authenticity, because that's exactly who she was. She didn't take any crap from anyone. She didn't take any BS. She was a fighter. She was stubborn. She was the absolute justice police. One of her very first phrases was, "What about me?" She was always concerned about what was next. And Kaylee, unashamed of anything, loved the finer things in life. You know, I would go up to her closet and take her and be like, "Olivia, that's literally Calvin Klein. Like, it's literally like name brand." And I'd be like, "I don't know what Brandy Melville is, Kaylee. Like, okay, you can have a backstory." But that was Kaylee. She loved the finer things, and she loved adventure. She hated, I won't say she just hated sitting, because we had plenty of lazy days together, but she liked to have, she collected memories. She loved taking photos. She loved having a very social life. She loved being that person on social media, and there's nothing wrong with that. So I know that those profiles are public, and I beg people to look at those gracefully. But yeah, look at them, because they were real human beings, Kaylee and Maddie, and they posted real college girl things, and they loved it, you know?
Yeah, the last part cut out. Didn't have no sound.
Gosh. Okay, wait. This might tell us a little more. All right, so we're going to pause there. The questions that we were getting in the live chat, we don't have a lot of answers to, because there's no description under this. This has 23 views. This is obviously a republication, but there were a few guesses. So Dirty Clean 555 says this was filmed on November 22nd or 24th. And then Heather had said, wasn't this filmed 2 days before the arrest? And we don't necessarily have answers, but if you guys have answers, we'd love to know. We might be able to reach out to the creator who made this. So maybe I can go back and leave a comment on here afterwards and just say, do you have some of the specific details? Do you have the metadata from when you screen recorded this? Maybe you could tell me with a link. We'll see what we can find out. Because
Heather said McDonough found his glove on Thanksgiving Day was after the 20th.
So maybe so obviously it wasn't a premonition. If this was when we think it was, she was referencing the incident.
Girl said that this video was published on November 25th, 2022.
Oh, thank you so much.
Where I get dumbfounded, Kiki, is she called her sister a materialist brat.
Wait, say that again?
She called Kaylee a materialistic brat.
I mean, I'm not going to knock Olivia for describing her little sister that way. You know, I don't read anything into
No,
that.
I'm not knocking her. It's just a weird statement. All I'm saying.
Yeah. Hold on. I thought I went up here. I want to go back up to Sanjay. Sonja says, perhaps the 911 call is being kept under wraps because someone actually survived and now it's a secret witness. What a plot twist. But then the question arises, why would Brian Kohlberg be implicated? So I know about the last part of that question, but I totally wonder the same thing. If the 911 call is being kept under wraps because it does indicate a fifth person or another witness.
Yeah, because I mean, if you notice that night, when Hunter Johnson, during one of the noise complaints, and Blaker tells Hunter Johnson, I've been a cop for 22 years. I'm not stupid. This is an off-campus sorority home. If you notice, when Hunter Johnson brings the phone out to, I think it's Rosendahl, the phone is pink. So I'm wondering if the phone that Hunter Johnson had Maddie on wasn't Emily's.
I mean, that would make sense. It would make sense. I don't Hunter doesn't strike me as maybe a pink phone case.
No. And I got to thinking about it. Well, what if what if the phone that he had that day making the 911 call was Emily's?
I mean, I think you're making a valid point. This very well could be. I mean, their proximity and their emotional connection to the house, everything. Like, you're making really valid points, especially when we're putting Hunter there that morning. I don't know.
Yeah.
And if Hunter was the one discovering, essentially checking polls, something like that, he probably wouldn't, with his own hands, then grab his own phone. He probably would say, somebody call 911. I think we've heard accounts, not official accounts, but people say he called out for someone to call 911. You're making a really good point. He would have probably called to the girl that walked over with him. I don't know. Good points, Robert. Really interesting. Really interesting.
Audrey just said, wow, Robert, excellent thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, let me go down. Where does Aubrey say that?
It's 11:11 my time. It'd be 12:11 your time.
So far behind on the chat. Let me go up for a second. I just want to see. So let's see. I think both can occur at the same time. The survivor witness may not have seen Brian. Dylan didn't see Brian either. This would be interesting. You made a 20. Do you have a channel, Dirty Clean 55? It says the first interview. Hold on, what's this? November 20th, 2022. Glove found by third male profile found inside. McDonough found his glove on Thanksgiving, which was the 24th. And I guess my only question and I think this is an important point to make because I talk about Chris McDonough so much, and somebody cleared up the glove mistake I was making. So for retraction purposes, let's all look at this comment. There were two gloves, one found on the 20th, one found on the 24th. The question I would have, and Mikey says, it says first interview. Did we agree on an actual date of this interview? Because if it was before the 20th, it's interesting that she would say that.
Yeah.
My feeling is she probably said it because she had heard it. Oh, thank you, Mystic Virgo. Yeah, please hit the like button.
Well, if you remember, her and Steve were the first ones to get a hold of the light bulb camera before they turned it over to the police. Because if you remember in the beginning, she had access to the light bulb camera, and that's how she pinpointed Maddie and Kaylee coming home at 1:56.
Mm-hmm. She saw the private driver drop them off.
Yep.
I believe the quote. I think this was to the brat comment. I think she was telling. Yeah, I agree with you guys on that one. Oh wait, I want to read this from Amethyst Noir. Heather Frizz, I'm so tired of McDonough saying it was his glove. There was latex gloves found on the
Second suite.
It isn't a weird statement, but it is a weird statement to tell the news. I agree, and there's been sensitivity chips, like especially at that Memorial for Life. I thought they could have maybe guided students a little bit, what was like appropriate to say, but I don't know how far they.
I mean, I'm not knocking Olivia or Steve or any of the family members, but it was just an odd statement coming from Dylan and Bethany in their letter. I don't understand why they couldn't come to the Memorial of Life service. Instead, they wrote a letter, and in the letter, Dylan wrote, "Yeah, I'm going to miss my people because they greatly impacted my life, and they made me so happy." See the my and the me, and it wasn't a, I understand that it was a heartfelt letter that they wrote, but at the same time, it also came off as kind of vain. You're muted.
I said like a 20-year-old. I just like I know, but I don't. I know what I would have wrote when I was 21. I might have used I and me a little too.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to knock your point, but it's just not where I want. I mean, for me personally,
I mean, can you agree it's just a weird statement?
It's not the statement I would have made.
Yeah.
When you say weird, like I just don't want it to appear that I'm looking for clues in that.
Yeah.
But so it does feel like I'm knocking personalities if I, but yeah, if I have to make the observation, it does sound like a 20-year-old was making that speech, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to like knock your point.
Oh, I know. That's why I respect you. But it's, like the whole interaction between Steve and Jack D that day. When Jack D hugged Christy, and he put his head on top his head on top of her head, and then Steve just gave this weird side eye at Jack D, and Jack D looked straight at Steve, and then Steve thrust his tongue into his mouth, thrust his tongue into his cheek, like, okay, I'm not going to say this. I'm just going to bite my tongue. That was a very awkward scene to see Kaylee's ex-boyfriend and her dad looking almost like a standoff.
Do you know what like gets to me when you're saying this, that maybe it didn't occur to me when I was watching Memorial for Life, but can you imagine being in that position and people have been cleared, but there's a killer on the loose, and you're at the Memorial for Life like the killer could be there, and like the amount of like confusion and stress and paranoia that must have been. Yeah, I can imagine all of their reactions are just brutal and raw at that.
Yeah.
I saw WSU Mom Kim says Chris McDonough should not be believed, in my opinion. She grabbed the videos the second and third day after. I received second footage and Steve said his was different. Are you talking about the Ring door cam?
You know what? You know, the light bulb camera.
Well, yeah, the light bulb camera. Steve said his was different. I received the videos on the second or third day after. Kim. Hold on. I've lost my train of thought. Sorry, Kim.
Chris McDonough should not be believed, in my opinion. Can you go back?
I'll go back. Sorry. Where was she? Kim, where were you? I lost it.
Basically, she's saying that Olivia and Steve grabbed the doorbell camera, or the light bulb camera, a couple of days after the unalivings, and then Steve gave her the second footage, and apparently Steve stated to her that the footage that he had got was different.
Wow, that's really unusual. And thank you for breaking it down in a way I can understand, Robert. I appreciate that. So when we talk about this, we've given Olivia credit for going down and doing the initial canvassing and sleuthing. So this must be the same thing that we're referencing here is the footage that Olivia sleuthed.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. And Kim, it also speaks volumes to, that you have been involved since that very beginning. And we appreciate you sharing your insights. And also I want to bring this up. JB says, I believe she was only 19 at the time. So even more speaking to my point.
Yeah.
And I skipped over a ton of comments here and I'm feeling really bad.
Now, here's what I can't figure out.
The killer.
I got a hold of a screenshot. No, I'm not gonna show it. I'm not gonna knock it. Autumn Gonzalez shared a screenshot on Twitter, and shared a post on Twitter, which I have a screenshot for, of Kaylee's journal. She had Kaylee's journal open, and she took a picture of it and posted it on Twitter.
From like around the times of the killings, or like from her childhood, or
after? I'm not going to show it. I'm not going to mess with it. I just figured I'd let you know.
Wait, I'm sorry. What? This is Kaylee's journal after
Autumn, her younger sister, took a picture list of Kaylee's goals and who she loved. She took a picture of it and posted it on Twitter.
That's really interesting. I mean, yes, I know you're forewarning me and saying you're not going to show it to me right now. But Robert, I would really, really like to see that, if only for the reason that I would like to know Kaylee a little bit better. And I'd be really interested in reading that after this stream.
Yes, Rochelle, that I'm not going to ever show, because Kaylee's gone. What was in that journal was her private stuff, and it shouldn't be showed on YouTube. I don't know why Autumn took a picture of it and posted it on X.
Oh, Thomas is saying, can you give a general description, please?
It was just basically her hopes and her dreams and her goals.
Did she happen to talk about, you said something about love. Did she talk about her love interest at all?
Jack D.
Did she speak fondly of him?
There was a heart next to his name.
And a list of her favorite people. Oh, I've got to see this. I see it in terms of, we want to know the people that we're talking about every day, and her life goals. Oh, it was on TikTok, they say. Why bring it up? I mean, I'm interested. We're not showing it. And I mean, if we were looking for clues, or anything like that, we would want to turn to the victim and who is in her immediate circle and what her most recent activities are and her current interests. Those are all relevant things when we're talking about the case, I think, not contradicting. Oh yeah, please. Okay, so this is another thing too, you guys. And thank you, Penny Lane, for bringing this up. Guys, please use creators' initials if you post something. Be respectful. I couldn't agree with you more. And when it comes to people who aren't involved in the case, please use their initials too. And the other thing is like, we're definitely, even with disagreements and whatever, like, I know sometimes streams when they're live, they can go different places, but we want to do our best to never call out another creator while we're on the live stream. So thank you for reminding us, Penny Lane.
I just sent it to your Discord.
What did we? Oh, okay. Well, I'll look at it later because I don't know, But thank you so much, Robert, for getting that to me. Oh, it was posted. That's why we're talking about it. It was posted. And Thomas says hopes, dreams, and goals. Hopes and dreams. WSU Mom Kid. Lana's Dave, the one with the text that all of a sudden disappeared. His best friend was Caden Young. He and Caden and Kaylee's brother were in the same frat, not Sigma Chi. Kim, I've heard from a few people that he's been debunked, and I'm not I haven't seen the actual receipts.
Dave has been debunked.
I got so spooked about even, I was unable to confirm anything. So I just got spooked to the point where I'm just not covering it because I don't want to provide fake information. But if somebody has something that could lead me to, confirming that Dave actually is who he says he is.
In chat, Heather just said in chat, everyone can listen to the calls from Dave and figure out who the two people are being Dave are.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Just like everything else, until it gets debunked, I want to see it with my own eyes. I just want to fully see the debunk. But
yeah.
I also have understood that I have crossed a line with reporting things that I haven't been able to confirm before, and I'm going to try to do better in life. Mystic Virgo says she wanted to be TikTok famous. Little did she know she would be. Wait, I'm only.
What you talking about?
No problem, Kiki. Thank you. Dave, hold on. Dave talked like he has marbles in his wealth. Well, I think that was probably intentional if he's.
Yeah.
Wait, Heather was interesting. And Annie Ruler says, WSU Mom Kim, do you think Dave was Caden?
Heather just said Frank is the caller who says that he is the boyfriend of DM's best friend.
Frank is not Dave. And WL2 Mom Kim says, the three were good friends with EB, and one of them was dating AC, allegedly. And I'm not sure which, but I know Kaden and Kaylee's brother had girlfriends. Kaden has passed. Frank is the caller that says he is the boyfriend of DM's best friend.
Yeah, I heard him.
He's the one who talked about Dylan right after, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, again, another one that, I mean, the best resources that I have told me that that was just a fake phone call. But if somebody has some evidence that this was an actual person and we can show who he is, absolutely. You know, it's interesting information. It's very prejudiced against Dylan in some of the things they say. So
Yeah.
certainly not something we want to show unless we know who the kid is or who the person is who's talking. Because if they're anonymous and they're not on the record, well, we know.
Yeah. Heather just said nearly every source that channel has sprung into the case has been debunked.
Wait, who said that? Heather?
Heather. Yeah.
Oh, wait, I just want to say, so she said, this is just about Kaylee's journal. Her journal is so wholesome. I'm glad I got to see that and know her better. And that's where I'm at too. Like, I just want to know her better, but it's really nice to hear she was wholesome. And now I'm feeling a little personal reading. Can you imagine someone reading your journal? Like, again, maybe I don't want to read it. I don't know. Dave is not.
OFS with Viviana said Dave is someone older. He used a few older military phrases.
I'm glad you're here because you're the one who I had this last discussion with, Vivian. Thank you. Where is she? Where did she say? What time stamp did she say that?
That's 11:29 my time. So yep.
Viviana, I think you told me in the comment where we discussed this. I think you mentioned he was from the Midwest too. Did I hear you? Did I read you say that one time?
Now explain to me this. In that docuseries Cyber Sleuths, all of a sudden, Dave says that the Snapchat missing.
The Snapchat what?
The Snapchat data from that day is quote unquote missing.
I don't know what he means, but I don't know.
It means it's gone. You know, all those threads that he said that he was reading through that woke him up and everything, all that's gone.
I mean, it depends on what he was doing with his Snapchat. I haven't used Snapchat in like probably 4 years, but 5, I don't know, a long time. But from what I remember, unless you put the setting on, you know, your message erased after it gets.
He was trying to say that the FBI had subpoenaed Snapchat for all the data.
Oh. But they couldn't find any?
Yeah. Like Mikey S. just said, that was an embarrassment on air. He loses his Snapchats. Who was buying that?
Where did Mikey say that? Oh, I haven't seen this. Yeah, if you're going on a show, like you wouldn't have your Snapchats ready. Kim, that's an understatement. We totally agree with you. Oh, Vivian says, the supposed Snapchats Dave claimed they were deleted. The problem is he was showing GMT for what he claims was deleted, so it doesn't match up with that morning. This is like a really productive live stream because honestly, we've never spent time debunking this or even talking really about it other than playing the Dave phone call because of all the, you know, the little things that we've heard were hoaxes. Dave was so convincing. Like he sounded emotional. He sounded like matter of fact. He didn't stutter. He sounded like he was speaking fluently about the situation. So,
Mr. Girl says Dave had a voice changer.
this is why I should not be betting people. Okay, so Kim says Dave is actually a student and he wasn't untruthful. Now, Kim, I remember you saying something, and you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to say the creator, but there was another creator who was talking to the frat boys that were looking for Dave, and I think you had mentioned that you directly got in contact with her, or if I'm not mistaken, or you had some sort of interaction with her about, I'm trying to remember who it was. Sweetie Pilo keeps coming to my mind, but I don't think it was her. But I remember you telling me something about this. So if you do have more information, let me know. All right. Well, since we have Viviana here, there is something else I wanted to talk about. I have to make sure I have the photograph. I might have to upload something really quickly. Oh, you typed me a message. Robert's making me laugh in the private chat. Anyway.
I do have a video about.
What'd you say?
I have a video for 2023.
Wait, Robert, the phone was breaking up. Say it one more time. Sorry.
I have a video about Rush Week 2023.
We might actually have time to get to that. Hold on. Let me get this photo pull up. So there's, just so you guys know what I have left and there was a conversation I wanted to have about the locks in the rooms. And I've done an entire video on this before, but Viviana brought something up in the comments that was really interesting to me today. I'm gonna, before I present this, let me just get the freaking picture pulled up here. Stay tuned, just give me 1 second. Robert, while I am giving a bunch of dead air, will you please tell me a little bit more about your Rush Week video?
It was a Sigma Chi Rush Week promotion video that they put out. I just put it in the back chat, and it's about a 3-minute video.
All right, let's pull this up while I get the picture ready, you guys. Oops, let me pause it. Hold on. Wait, hold on. What is this? Robert, do you know, does this have mute? This isn't your video though, right?
No, this isn't my video. It's a video my sleuther has uncovered behind the scenes.
Give me 1 second, because I don't know. This looks like it might have copyrighted stuff in it. Give me 1 quick second. Let me take a quick peek at it.
Okay.
I'm going to turn the volume on. What we can do is we can play it without sound while I'm pulling up that picture, but there is some music in it that we can't play.
Okay. I mean, you can just mute it and just play the video play the video on mute.
Perfect. Oops, hold on. Start it over and mute. And this is perfect timing for me to get my thing.
Hey, Texas Ranger.
I haven't seen Texas Ranger in a little while. Oh, here it is. Nice. I found it. Okay.
Viviana said this is a recruitment video for Sigma Chi.
Is this the one that we've all seen? Where Ethan was in the background? Hmm. I will say the video is definitely geared towards like attracting the freshman boy and not like convincing their parents that they should pay for the fraternity. Like I will say that because you think more about like.
Heather says, "Was that a headlamp?"
Oh my gosh, we have 30 comments. I didn't even notice that. The Texas Ranger. Oh, it looks like AR's back. Oh, it was Watts. Okay, Watts also said that Bethany was. There's no telling. Did not say what it was about. I'm sure it was watch the sessions. So okay. So just so everybody knows, what I was talking about earlier when I said there was some other fraternity people looking for Dave because they thought Dave was real. This is where I was referencing it from. Kim's was saying Watts the Obsession was the one that was interviewing those fraternity boys, and she had done the work on it. I knew it was a larger creator that had done that work. And I actually never went back and reviewed that. So that's interesting. Thank you for letting us know, and I'll go look there. So, Viviana, since you're here. Oh, you sent me another message. Robert, stop making me laugh. Okay. Well, don't stop making me laugh. But, so let me just pull this up. So let's talk about the locks for a second. I have.
Let's see, just like what Olivia was saying. That keypad lock on the front door.
Mm-hmm.
Like she stated in that interview, everyone in that neighborhood had access to the combination to that keypad lock.
Yeah, I mean,
and she also stated that the house was an iconic house, well known, a well-known iconic house. How would she know it was a well-known iconic house?
What does she mean by iconic? I guess I'm confused about that statement.
Party house?
And how would Olivia know that?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Oh, maybe what Kaylee said to her. Oh, somebody found the video. This is so interesting. So DB Tabe says, found the video. It was on November 15th on KHQ Channel 6 in Spokane, Washington. How weird is that? She mentioned a glove before 2 gloves were found, one on the 20th, one on the 24th. It's just really weird. And there was that, what was that other premonition type thing that we said?
The gloves. And weird noises.
What was the other thing? There was something else.
Weird noises and call 911 or something like that.
Okay, so Kim is confirming I got the story right. So what she's saying, what was on Watts and what Kim is referencing is that Watts the Obsession featured these fraternity boys that came on her show, and they were looking for Dave, and they couldn't find him. And from what I heard, they actually found the wrong person when they were looking for him. So the story continues, and Heather says that's rather interesting. All right, so I've got a picture I want to bring up. All right, so take a look at this. I was thinking about doing a segment using this paper. Robert and I had taken a close look at this diagram in our last live stream, and we saw some things on it that we found really, really interesting, particularly up here, excuse me, in the upper right-hand corner of the picture. You can see some kind of lettering there. There's a B and a D. And I mean, we really took some time to look around this. It looks like there's a number 1 there. This could potentially be a 3. This looks like a 3. It looks like there's names crossed out in other places. I mean, we're just speculating. We're looking at it could be a shopping list. It could be anything. But what we do know about this evidence piece number 4, bless you, it was found on the high side of the house. And it was the 4th piece of evidence. So it feels predominant. It feels like it has something to do with the crime. Even if it had nothing to do with the crime, it probably would have been picked up anyway. But what I was thinking, oh, bless you, what I was thinking is that this could possibly be a diagram of the house, like 2 different things we talked about in the last live stream. It could possibly be a diagram of the house, like where people were. And the other thing that I was thinking is, wait a second, there were locks on all the doors. Did this?
It looks like a list of names that are crossed out to me.
Yeah, I saw that too. And so what I was thinking is, I'm like, okay, from what we know, these doors had combo locks, because we heard, I heard a roommate who lived in the house before the girls saying that each door had a combo lock. So that was the information that I've been going off of. But Viviana said in my chat, and I'll actually bring the comment up because I have it at hand. I knew we were going to do this segment. It was our last live stream, and Viviana says here, I don't think they had their doors locked. And Jeff never said he replaced Xana's lock. That was Kara that said that comment about the lock. And a lot of people believe she misunderstood his comment about Xana changing a lot. Also, the only lock that was a keypad was the front door. None of the rooms had key locks. And Jeff made a comment that the front door combo a lot of people wouldn't remember, so they would just walk around the back and go through the sliding door. Robert, so from your understanding, didn't you always thought there were like interior locks on each of the door? Like they were meant to have it be like mini apartments in each place? Isn't that
Yeah,
what?
like little keypads, like little keypad locks. Well, Viviana just said the combo locks were removed and it was refurbished in 2019.
Where did you read that? Was that in the lease or did a student say that?
She said they just put that they just have regular locks now. Well, the
Vivian,
house is gone, so it can't be now, but
Viviana, do you remember where you Robert, we've got an
yeah.
echo. I think you got two screens open. Viviana, do you remember where you heard that? That would be really cool if we could reference it. You know, it'd be nice to bring the segment into full circle if you can remember it right now by any chance. And then Beth says there were no combo locks on each door. Pictures 2 days prior prove that theory. Which pictures? And is it just one door we saw a picture of, or was it like a TikTok of the whole house? Just curious. And because if we're going to use the word prove, you know, we want to make sure it proves it, not just. Okay, so, oops, hold on. She says the real estate website had the inside photos after it was refurbished. I would really love, and I think that it could be done. I think we could talk to somebody who was in that house closer to the crime, you know, closer to the time of the crime, who might be able to confirm that. Because even if it was in 2019 when they refurbished it, who's to say Xana's dad didn't go to put a lock on the door? And then aside from that, in 2019, I heard a room. I don't want to say the name of the person. I'm very much avoiding their names of the two people that spoke about this, but they stated that each room was like an apartment and it had its own lock. And I could be, like I said, I could have misunderstood too. I looked into this a long time ago, and there are no combo locks on the interior. I've been mistaken this whole time.
Who is it? Dirty Clean says, look, Olivia said they always lock their doors, then clearly stated, I'm now for a fact that they locked them that evening. Yes, maybe just her assuming it, but boy, oh boy, then her talking about it.
Thank you. Party pictures show this Friday night and Saturday night. You know, if it's observation, you know, and we don't have like a direct quote somewhere, that's something we can go on. I mean, we have enough material in the immediate days that we can take a look and see for ourselves. So yeah, I appreciate this. This is a really good conversation because it explains a lot. Because remember, Robert, we were talking about how did the killer bypass those locks?
Yeah. The only thing I can think is the sliding glass door could have possibly been unlocked.
What?
Now, either the sliding glass door was unlocked, or if you remember, the morning after, that front door was wide open. So he could either came in the sliding glass door or walked straight through the front door.
Hold on. Oh, whoops, I put wrong. They refurbished it after the unaligned is an even out at up for rent in February 2020. And it was ordered to seal the home vacant. What?
They did not have it up for rent in February 2023 because It was such a grisly scene in there. The disaster response team had to go out twice.
It's clearly bullshit. No, they did not have it. Wait, hold on. Anyway, I'd love to share it. So, all right. So I'm going to play Rolo's new video. I'm going to put a banner up, and then we're going to play our tribute video, and then we're going to call it a night because we've already been streaming over 2 hours.
Look at back chat.
Back chat now. Hold on. Stop it. Tell him to stop sending me messages in the chat.
I'm trying to make Kiki laugh.
Yeah, it's working. All right, what was I doing? Here we go. Let's get Rolo's video pulled up. I can't find you. Come on. Okay, this is called Exposing Some of the True Idaho 4 Unalivers. I'm not Twiz. Let me put up the banner. Okay, so Rolo is giving us alternative theories. He's saying, if not Brian Kohlberger, who? And we're going to find out. Everything you are about to watch is just speculation, reaction, and it doesn't.
Alleged.
It's alleged, and it does not necessarily reflect the views of this channel.
Or mine.
Or Robert. But Rolo is one of my mods. He's a great researcher, and he's also a visual artist, so it's really interesting to see his take on things.
First of all, I saw that my theory, my personal opinion, and my findings. It's all kind of thing, and everybody mentioned here on this to prove it's not part at all. Hold up. So I'm gonna hit you guys with the real timeline for the incident. You guys, however you want to take it, but I'm just gonna share my findings with you guys. So if you go ahead and download the EQ app and put your earbuds on so you can hear everything clear.
Hold on, I gotta pause the video for a second. Okay, so Viviana. Barbara, I'm muting you. It's really hard for me to say that Linda Lane is tomfoolery when the fact of the matter is that somebody leaked this footage to have it exploited. So rather than, I mean, I'm not pointing you out. I'm just saying for general criticism about showing Linda Lane, like this is, as far as we know, evidence in this case. And somebody has taken it upon themselves to leak it to the internet. So this is one thing we do have that we can review. Now I do have my doubts about Linda Lane, but I do think it's never something I want to dismiss. Like I do like reviewing Linda Lane, obviously. I didn't mean to just pause and single you out. I just, generally speaking, why I'm showing. Oh, whoa.
Trip on this. I always thought the girls left together from the grub truck, but I was checking out this footage and I think they might have left separately with different vehicles. Watch, look right there. That's Maddie. You could tell by the long jacket. Look right there. Watch. It's only one person walking. I think that's what she was talking to number 9 about when he called her. I told her to give her a ride. This is a vehicle that it's a white truck. So if it was their guy or whatever that took her, give her a ride home, that's what he drives, a white truck. And I think they were kind of like the reason that they probably avoided Jack Showalter is because I guess supposedly he was keeping an eye on Maddie for Jake, his boy. I mean, never know, like Maddie was probably doing her thing. It's a college life, so maybe that's why they shook him, like they were trying to, get burned. Or she. Doesn't matter. I mean, they're doing their thing, Nothing wrong with that. So, but I think Showalter's being targeted unfairly because he has put out some info that nobody has put out there, and nobody seems to acknowledge it or validate it. And check it out right here. Like when that truck passes, look at the right top corner. There's like they're keeping an eye, even on the left, like on the other side of that building, you can see people right there, like walking in the parking lot, and watch on on this car. There's somebody that got on the corner on the right side. You can see him walking right there on the right side where it's white. You can see him walking towards the corner, and that car picks him up. And he got on and they busted a U, probably because they saw a truck coming back, and they just hit a corner right there. They hit a left, and they just like wait right there till the truck passes, and then they head that way. So it's kind of it's like they were already waiting for them. They were just keeping an eye on them everywhere. That little gray SUV that was parked, that's the right. The gray SUV that was parked when Maddie, what you tell Adam? I told him everything. that same little gray SUV, believe it or not, the Cowboys that went into the house, they were driving that one. Exactly the same one. And this is allegedly their arrival time.
Check the back chat, please, Kiki.
We're gonna pause here. We're Robert and I were just talking in the back chat because the stream, it seems like we're having like a little lag in the video and it keeps cutting in and out. So I don't know why we're having problems with the stream right now, but the first thing I want to say before I take this off the screen, let me put Rolo's banner up a little bit better. So we've only watched a portion of this video. So we watched almost 12 minutes. It's actually a 28-minute video. And so I would just say, here is Rolo's handle. And Rolo's one of my mods, and he can drop a link in, or one of my mods could please drop a link for Rolo's channel in there. Thank you, Heather. And then you can go check it out for yourself. Rolo has a lot of videos on Linda Lane. He's got a lot of great videos on his channel, so go check it out. You'll definitely find something interesting there. So Robert, for the last thing I wanted to do was I wanted to feature a tribute video to the. Let me take this banner down. I wanted to.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. All right.
Well, I'd like to talk to you behind the scenes after the stream's over.
Okay. Sounds good. So I'm just pulling up my playlist here.
Yeah, I was totally shocked today when you told me that your husband is a subscriber of my channel.
Yeah. Well, it was interesting because he goes, who's this criminal confidential? And I'm like, oh, it's the good Jen. And it was so cool that I saw her on your stream last night. That was really neat. Yeah, he tries to subscribe to he just likes updates on the Idaho Force. So he tries to subscribe to everyone who brings out new content or innovative things. All right, so before I play this, I'm going to put the channel handle up, but I don't want to put it up until the video's done playing because I don't want to cut out the pictures. But this channel's handle is Justice for MKXE, and you have to use the numero 4. Don't type out 4 or you'll get a different channel. But she has a lot of these tribute videos, and they're absolutely beautiful. And this is the most recent one. It was put out less than 2 weeks ago. And so anyway, I hope you enjoy it. And I think that it's a good way to end the stream because it grounds us and it reminds us exactly, why we are doing this. So I'm going to play this. Let me take us off the screen. And we'll be right back with you. Okay, so while that is still up, let me just like put it back up. I just want to put up the banner so everyone, well, let me put the banner up in a different way. Yeah, so if you guys could go visit this channel, this video hasn't got a lot of views and she doesn't have a ton of subscribers, but she dedicates her channel to these dedication videos or these tribute videos to the Idaho 4. So please go visit her channel and subscribe because they're all about this length. They're all beautiful. And I guarantee you're going to see some candid snapshots that you may have not. Excuse me. So please go visit her channel. I'm sorry, I'm having like a coughing attack. Robert, what did you think of that video?
I loved it.
I liked how they had so many pictures of them young.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful. And I mean, that's basically all Robert and I had for our presentation tonight. Let me just check the back chat before I say that. Robert, stop. Okay, so I just want to say thank you. Robert, while I'm taking that banner down, please let us know, what do you have in store this week for your YouTube channel?
Okay, well, I'm doing a live tomorrow night. I'm not sure on the time yet, but it's more likely going to be 8 p.m. And it's going to be myself, Criminal Confidential.
Nice.
And I send an invite out to Echoes of Clarity as well.
That's amazing. So Trisha will be there too, hopefully.
Yeah.
Well, I'll definitely be watching. And Criminal Confidential is, if you guys don't know, Jen is just one of our fact checkers and she brings us tons of stories. So she always has really, really good stuff, really good sound bites and articles. And Trish is always so fun to listen to, and she's got a heart of gold. I cannot wait to tune in. So you think you're going to do that at 8 p.m. Central Time tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay. Great. And then it's the 27th. So you and I are going to be covering the hearing in a couple days.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So I'll be dual streaming that with Robert onto our channels, but the commentary and all of the coverage is going to be on Robert's channel, and I'll be streaming the actual court proceedings on my channel. So if you want the commentary, if you want the pre-trial, stuff, you're going to want to tune into Robert's channel, True Crime Poll. Actually, let me put your banner up here because sometimes it get confusing finding your channel because there's a couple quotes up there. What do you have beyond the live stream? Have you made plans for this weekend yet, Robert?
Well, I was going to go to we had an air show this past Saturday and Sunday, and I was going to go to the air show yesterday, and I was going to live stream it from the air show, but it rained, so it rained out the air show.
The Blue Angels.
Yes.
You were talking about bringing your daughter to see the Blue Angels this weekend. Damn.
Yeah. It rained for most of the day because the air show was only from 9 a.m. my time to 3 p.m. And the Blue Angels was the closing out of the air show, and they were taken to the skies about 2:30. Well, it rained, so we didn't get to go because I was going to give my subscribers a special treat that day and live stream the air show so they could watch the air show.
That would have been.
But it didn't happen because it rained.
Well, so is there like a rain check on it? I mean, a rain date?
No. The air show only happens here once a year. So we won't have another one until next August of next year.
Oh, that's just too bad. And you would think the air show would have brought like a lot of business to the city and stuff like that too. So it stinks.
Yeah, well, it was we have an air base here in town called McConnell Air Force Base. That's where the air show was at, and at one point it used to be the fighter wing out there, the F-16s, and the F-16s and stuff like that, and then they went to the bomber group, which was B-1 bombers. Now is the fueling group. So all we have out there is those gigantic fueling, the gigantic C-130s and stuff like that, the fueling planes. Yeah, I kind of miss watching fighter jets fly over.
I just feel bad because you bought those special noise canceling headphones for your daughter and she was all excited, but it is what it is. B-1 bombers.
Yeah, Saturday, I got to see an F-117 fly over my house.
What was the reason? Why?
It was part of the show.
Oh, so it was like getting ready for the show that actually got canceled.
No, the planes were flying over my house on Saturday. I didn't go on Saturday because it was so hot out, and then I found out from my landlord this morning 15 people on Saturday had passed out at the air show from heat exhaustion because of the tarmac, the concrete tarmac.
What? How hot was it?
With the heat index and the humidity.
Did you answer? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I think. Huh?
It was about 102 yesterday, 102 on Saturday with the heat index and the humidity. So about 15 people got hospitalized for heat exhaustion.
It was hell in Ohio. It was like pouring rain in Massachusetts all day.
And see, what's weird, you would think after it rained yesterday, it would cool stuff off. It just made it hotter.
I'm trying to find a good Angel D because Jeff says I haven't said hi to her yet. But there's a reason. I don't like
chat.
I don't like putting. I said hi to her in the chat too, but I don't like her. I don't like her profile pic. I'm sorry.
Jeff says it was hot as hell in hell today.
Okay, so we'll flash a hello to Angel D up, but really, really quickly because I don't like her profile pic.
Why don't you like her profile pic?
Because I'm not a Harry Styles fan anymore.
I never was.
But
but I
discussed it ad nauseum in other live streams, so I won't discuss it tonight.
Yeah, but because of that new Deadpool Wolverine movie, I'm an NSYNC fan again.
You're an NSYNC fan?
Again. Because Ryan Ryan Reynolds was doing the NSYNC Bye 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 dance with Bye 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 playing in the background.
You like the new Deadpool movie, right? My nephew just it the other night, and he was like, "Oh, I don't know if it's going to be good." I'm like, "Well, I heard on YouTube."
Oh, it is awesome.
Wait, you're in need of a super puppy and an puppy nostril? Wait, hold on. Debunk is what I used to debunk when I was a kid. Debunk.
Debunk bed.
We're really prolonging the goodbye.
Viviana says Jeff H is on the top debunk.
I think I'm just like high on adrenaline because I was on Discord earlier. I quit the social media. I guess YouTube is social media, but I don't look at it like that. But I quit Discord like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And it's just fun to have it back for a day. But I'm erasing it after tonight. Maybe.
Too bad.
Maybe. It's so convenient though. It's so convenient to like share them. You
Yeah,
quit
Too Fast,
Discord
Too
too.
Please
You know how
Too Fast, Too Please says French debunked then. A French bunk then.
yeah, I don't have Facebook or Instagram or anything. I quit Facebook a long time ago, and then when I got banned from YouTube, I opened everything. I opened an Insta, I opened a Facebook, an X, I opened everything. But it's just like anything. You have to spend time building them up, and I didn't really feel like it. And they're so invasive. They like never go away, even when you like log out of them. And
Yeah.
so I hate it all.
Now here's the funny part. You've heard that. Yeah, you've heard that song by Madonna, "Like a Virgin," right?
Yes.
You will never look at that song the same way again after watching Deadpool 3.
Yeah, you told me that. That's funny. What's my theater? What do you mean? What does he mean, Robert?
I don't know. But there's a spoiler in the movie. I'm not gonna say.
You're not going to spoil the movie for us?
No.
So D Squared was saying, what's my favorite movies? I don't know, but I try to like avoid drama movies. I don't like movies that make me cry. Like I like watching comedies. I like rom-coms a little bit. Like I like getting into mysteries.
There is an awesome
I like
there's an awesome drama movie that I've watched that I absolutely love. Mystic Mountain with Sean Penn.
You recommending it?
Yeah. It's got Tim Robbins and Sean Penn. Oh, Mystic River. Sorry, Mr. Girl, it's Mystic River.
Ooh, so he's saying the Scott Peterson series on Netflix, any good? Does anyone know? I have a Netflix recommendation. I was saying this in my members live the other night. So if you guys ever watch Kill Tony, even if you're not a fan of the show, watch the new season with the 2 presidential impersonators. It is literally, I can't stand that show. I turn it off whenever I come into the room, but it is
Sirius Black said that in Mr. River, Kevin Bacon is in Mystic River too.
As well, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Jeff says, "Oh yeah, Mystic River was really good." It was.
Well,
and it's a crime drama.
It's a crime drama. I'll keep that in the back of my mind I just try to watch things that make me laugh because
there's one movie I watched last night, and it's an older. It's got Gerard Butler in it. You know the guy from that rom-com where he was a bounty hunter with Jennifer Aniston. The name of the movie is Law Abiding Citizen. It's got Gerard Butler, Jamie Foxx, Cole Meany. That's his name. Colm, and his last name is Meany. That movie will keep you on the edge of your seat.
What's it called again?
It's called Law Abiding Citizen.
Sirius Black says she's watched it twice now. I think we're talking about the Kill Tony episode. And I didn't realize it before. Kill Tony hosted the Brady roast. And I mean, it was tough to watch as a Patriots fan, but it was hilarious. I thought they were really mean.
Yeah, Tarak Steelhawk just said it's a great movie. The Law Abiding Citizen is a great movie. The premise of the movie is Gerard Butler is a retired military. He's like a retired CIA, I believe, or Black Ops or something. He's like a think tank type guy, and his wife and his daughter are killed in front of him, and he almost died too. But the whole premise of the movie is throughout the movie, Gerard seeks vengeance against the people who killed his wife, killed his daughter, and then he seeks vengeance on the actual judicial system.
Okay. I think I've heard of this before, and nobody is talking about Kill Tony in the chat, apparently. This is a true crime.
Listen, Linda said yes, he did.
Law-abiding citizen. All right. Any other Netflix recommendations, you guys, before we wrap this up?
Yeah, your husband likes crime dramas, right?
Yeah.
Run those 2 movies by him that I told you, Mystic River and Law Abiding Citizen, and see if he's seen them.
Well, isn't Mystic River like a classic? Like that's like not a new movie, right?
It's got
stuff, right?
Yeah. It's got Sean Penn and Kevin Bacon and Tim Robbins. Yeah, that's the premise of Law-Abiding Citizens. One of the perpetrators walked free.
These are really good recommendations, Robert. Thank you. So I wish you had given them to me before the weekend. So I could watch them. Directed by Clint Eastwood. Oh,
Yeah,
man.
Mystic River is directed by Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, I just want to say I really appreciate the chat tonight. Like it's difficult to, I just like how everyone gets along and everyone asks questions, because I know that there are people from both ends of the spectrum in this chat, and it always just impresses me when people get along. This caught my attention because you're thinking of Mystic Pizza, Kiki. It's so funny you mentioned that, because I was just talking about Mystic Pizza this morning. So I'm from obviously New England, and Mystic Pizza is a famous movie because it was Julia Roberts' first movie. And it's actually a pizza place in Mystic, Connecticut. And I've had pizza there before. It was good. It was like,
Jeff just said, in my opinion, all y'all, what's he say? All y'all need Pulp Fiction. Have you seen that one, Kiki?
Oh yeah, of course. I think I've seen. Well, I haven't seen all of Quentin Tarantino's movies, but
Pulp Fiction was Uma Thurman's first movie.
I didn't know it was her first, but she was like she took that. She took.
That was her starring role.
Yeah.
And then she went on to do Kill Bill.
Yeah, she's something. I really like Uma Thurman. Yeah, then it must be her. Wait. See, there's a mixture of movie and Idaho 4 talking here. Oh, you're into zombie. They were talking about the House of a Thousand.
My favorite movie with Uma Thurman is Kill Bill and Batman and Robin with George Clooney and Chris O'Donnell. She plays Poison Ivy.
Your favorite horror movie is True Romance? I didn't know that was a horror movie. Oh, non-horror movie.
My favorite horror movie is the first horror movie I seen when I was 8 years old.
What was it?
Friday the 13th.
God, I don't even know what my first horror movie was.
And then when I hit my teenage years, my favorite vampire movie was the iconic cult classic, The Lost Boys.
Oh, I like that movie. Does anybody remember that freaking awesome vampire series on HBO, True Blood? I was addicted to that
hated
show.
that show.
You hated that show? How can you see that? Sookie? I loved Sookie. The fairy?
That and Vampire Diaries.
I like that one.
Now, I will say that I will say this. You know, my late wife Sherry, her favorite vampire series, I don't know why, Twilight.
I haven't seen all the Twilights. I only saw a couple of them.
The only, I didn't mind sitting through the Twilight series with her, but my only gripe through the entire movie, the entire series, was the glittery vampires.
A lot of people say that. They don't approve of glitter on vampires. And that makes sense. I'm like, it's getting really cold up in this office right now.
All right. Well, let's end this so I can talk to you behind the scenes.
Okay. Hold on, I just want to see something.
Peace out, guys.
All right. So Robert is calling it into this. Hey, thank you for showing up tonight. Thank you for the active chat. We had a really good time, and we couldn't do this without the chat. Thank you for being here, and justice for the Idaho 4.
Yep. Peace.